Thank you. I'm Ed Mariziak. I'm the man in the chair. Welcome to East Toronto Living. And in this video, we are going to be talking about another article from BlogTO. I haven't talked about an article in BlogTO from BlogTO in a long time. Anyway, it's titled "Rent Prices Declining More Than in More Than 3 Ontario Cities, than anywhere else in Canada." So rents have dropped, and we're going to be talking about these 3 cities. Toronto is one of them. So if you want to hear more about this article, stay tuned. Hey friends, if you can all do me a big favor, if you can subscribe if you haven't already, means the world to me. Our subscription has crossed the 1,300 mark. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Appreciate your loyalty. I'll keep delivering content to you as much as I can. And if you had listed your home and it did not sell in the last 12 months, as many folks have in the last 12 months, I can help you with that. So what you can do, there's a link in the description, and here it is right here as well. You can download my free expired listing rescue kit, and it's full of valuable tips and insights. You can also, there'll be a link to my Calendly. You can go ahead and book an appointment with me. I can have a look-see at your property, and I can help you out with that. So check it out. And also, hey, if you just want to, book a call, we can do a Zoom meeting if you're from out of town. And or you want me to check out your property, or you want to go out and look at some of the properties we've been featuring, my contact information is here as well. But you can also book the Calendly link as well if you're high tech. I'm completely embracing the high tech wave, the AI wave as well. I'm fully engaged in that. So and that's of course going to help the business and everything else. Awesome. Okay, let's get right into this article here. Once again, it's from BlogTO, and we haven't used BlogTO in a few weeks, because we went to the Globe and Mail or Money.ca or different sources. I like to mix it up some, but it's titled, "Rent Prices Declining More in 3 Ontario Cities, than anywhere else in Canada." Now, Toronto is one of them, and that's of course, I live in Toronto and work in Toronto. But the article, starts off that, the rents have been declining nationwide, not just in Ontario, but particularly the most in these 3 cities. Now, where we're seeing the biggest decline are in 1-bedroom apartments. Now, according to this article, landlords are having a tough time here because, rents dropped. Now, landlords who have bought property, maybe between, say, 2014 to 2022, paid a fair amount for their properties. Those folks are probably going to have a tough time because, they paid a lot. And obviously, if you got caught up in that COVID fiasco when property values were going through the roof. Unfortunately, I was one of them as well. I bought an investment property during that period, and then we had that incredible crash immediately following all that, which was not fun. But anyway, we're starting to recover a little bit from that, thankfully. Landlords are going to be suffering and are. But we're going to get more about my commentary about all that. But the three cities that have been affected the most are Toronto, Barrie, which is surprising, and London. So, and particularly, 1-bedroom apartments. So they've actually dropped year over year. Rent has dropped 9.6%. So to the price now, the average price for rent in Toronto for a 1-bedroom apartment is $2,170, $2,170 a month. Ow! That's expensive, I think. Even though you're getting a better deal now, almost a 10% better deal now, that's still pretty dear for a 1-bedroom. But it goes on. rents also for 2-bedroom properties have dropped 11% to $2,760 a month. So basically $2,760 a month. Now, before last year at this time, folks were paying over $3,000 a month, which I don't know why I'm surprised, because I haven't done too many rentals in the last couple of years, but I used to. I mean, we do occasionally help renters find properties, or we list a rental property, and we have to obviously research and we have to know this stuff. But it comes as a bit of a surprise. I just remember reading this. I guess. Rent has, well, obviously it's changed a lot in the last 12 months. So I mean, for the better, I think, because I think, well, we'll get into all of that, but definitely it's for the better for folks, that it's more affordable for people, which is good. It's good for a lot of things, but this article continues. Barrie ranked nationwide as I think the next worst declines for 1-bedroom apartments. So they've experienced a 8.2% decline year over year to $1,800 a month. Okay, so that's a little better. That's a little more affordable, but still for a 1-bedroom, I mean, wow. And 2-bedroom apartment. 2-bedroom units have fallen 9.1% to $2,000 a month. So that's still, it's still kind of dear, I think. So that's dropped 10% in Barrie. Now, you can also, for folks who live downtown, you could still access the GO train. There's a direct GO train from Barrie to Toronto and back to Union Station. So I've never actually taken the GO train from Barrie to Toronto, but I have from Hamilton to Toronto and back, and also from Oshawa and also from Whitby to Toronto and back. And I actually enjoy taking the GO train, because you could either sleep, read, do whatever. You don't have the stress of driving. And it's interesting because you could see the 401 when you're on the GO train, or you could see the 400 when you're on the GO train. You could see the traffic bunching up. GO train's a good option, and it's cheaper, better for the environment. And if you work downtown, it's a good option. So, and you're paying less. So there's a lot of pluses in living in Barrie or outside of the city. And I recommend that people do that. I mean, if you can't afford to live in the city, by all means, don't. I mean, there's more affordable options. I advocate that all the time. So they've seen the second most drastic decline, and the article, of course, goes on to London. Now, London's interesting. London was a real for the longest time, London was really exploding. It really grew a lot. I know this because I sold real estate in London, because there was a complex that I was selling real estate in, and I had a couple clients that bought, but I knew the client, the economy in London was amazing. There's a lot of corporate headquarters in London, and it's big. There's a university. There's lots. There's some close to the auto industry. There's lots going on in London. But they've experienced an 8% decline in 1-bedrooms, falling to $1,600 a month, and for 2-bedrooms, the average it dropped to almost 10%, 9.7%, to $1,950 a month, basically $1,950 a month for a 2-bedroom in London. Which I guess that's okay if for 2-bedroom you probably got more than one person living. So if you got 2 people splitting the rent, it's probably not as extreme, not as much of a burden. And this article continues, and it goes on. It talks about Oshawa, my hometown, Oshawa. So I guess Oshawa is the fourth most drastic declines. It says here that declines have dropped as much as $260 a month for well, actually, it doesn't say. But it doesn't say what it declines to, and it doesn't give you the percentage it's declined. It just says landlords are experiencing as much a decline as $260 a month in Oshawa. So it's not the top three, but it's probably fourth, and it's one of the top highest declines. Which again, Oshawa is another growing city. When I left Oshawa almost 30 years ago, I think it had under 100,000, and now it's got over 200,000 population. And even though the auto industry is dead there's still lots of growth in Oshawa, and it's still a great place to live. I mean, you got better, more competitive prices, big homes. I remember selling my family home. It was a big house. And a lot of homes like that for a good amount of money. And what's this all mean? The article ends, by the way. But what's this all mean? Well, what it means I'm very much in favor. I'm glad rent's cheaper. That it dropped 10%, 8-9% on average. That means folks could afford rent. Folks have an easier time paying rent when everything else has grown, has went up in price. Also, this is helping the economy. It's lowering inflation. So when inflation was going up 8-9%, rents are dropping 8-9%. This is good. This is good for the economy. This means that renters are paying less. It's more affordable. This is good for landlords too. If you obviously investors have bought property for less money in the last couple of years. So you obviously you ask for less money for less rent because rent is less now, but that's better because if folks are having easier time to pay rent, that's good for landlords because it's more affordable for folks to live now. It's a lesser burden for them to pay their rent on time, and it's good for everybody. I guess, but if you were a landlord that you were once charging $2,800 a month, and now you got to charge $2,500, that means it's not so good. I'm unfortunately one of my properties, so that's where I'm at, but that's improving slowly. But I feel for some landlords and for some folks that all this negative declining in prices, it's affecting them in a bad way, and that's not good. But that is of course I feel for folks who are experiencing all this negative impact. With property values that are declining and rents, and they paid a lot of money for their property, and then now have to charge rents, very lower rents just to keep reasonable tenants in there, and are having a tough time, and that's no fun. But the other thing that also strikes me too, so we've got 25,543 listings right at this moment in the GTA that are sitting. That's 5 months of inventory. So that means if it takes 1 month to sell 3,000-4,000 homes, So it takes, but we had I think 6,000 sales last month in the last TREB report. So we're still we got almost 5 months of inventory, and more inventory coming out on top of that. So we got 5 months of inventory. We got all these folks sitting on the sidelines and not buying. Where are they living? So if they're still paying rent, then typically when the market is unaffordable to buy, people are renting. That means rents should be going up because there's more people renting. So I'm a little puzzled that there's so much property sitting and nobody's buying. Where are all these people living? Are they all living in their parents' basement and not declaring rent? Because none of this is being reported. That's a bit of a shock for me. I don't know. I'm puzzled. But I mean, something's got to give at some point. I mean, we got to start seeing some of this inventory unloading very soon. But we are coming to the end of the selling season, and come next year, we're going into the absolute worst selling time for sellers, because it's Christmas, it's holiday. People aren't shopping for homes unless they're really, 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 really motivated, and then they're looking at this time. And then also sellers are not putting their homes up for sale during Christmas because they're waiting for the next year. Nobody sells in December unless they absolutely have to, and this is when bargain hunters find the bargains, because properties are still sitting, and we've got 25,543 of them sitting right at this moment that probably we won't see. Maybe we might see another 1,000 or 2 get sold. Plus, we'll see more coming out in December, because some will list, and it'll be very interesting. We're in very interesting times right now, folks. But so this is a very telling and very interesting article. And it really kind of paints a picture for the economy, what's going on. But I think for the most part, I'm glad to see rent coming down, and because that's a big help to a lot of people. And hopefully we'll see a nice gradual growth back up, and start to see more of a balanced market. Oh, I have to mention too, I had somebody, a subscriber, somebody commented that that we weren't in a buyer's market. I have to address this because, well, I hate to say it to you, friend, but we are in a buyer's market. We've got 25,543 listings sitting, and we're and only 6,000 last month sold. So that means it's a buyer's market. When we got 5 months of inventory sitting, that means we are in a buyer's market. I mean, what his logic was saying, we're not in a buyer's market until we see a 50% drop. Well, good luck with that. You're not going to see a 50% drop in house values ever. I mean, that's never ever happened in the history. I mean, even in the 90s, in the 1990s, in the Great Canadian Recession, which was horrible, by the way. I was around. I was unemployed for 3 years. I had to go back to business school just because there was nothing to do. So I went back to school. I went to college worked on a business degree. I never finished, but did do 2 years. The economy recovered eventually. At any rate, here we are. No, we're not in a buyer's market. I hate to break it to you. Or no, we are in a buyer's market. I hate to break it to you, but yes, we are. These are the facts. I don't know where you're getting your info from, but I have facts here to support everything that I put up on my YouTube channel here. All right, friends, I think that should just about wrap up this party for the day. Don't forget, if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. Comment. Love the comments. Keep them coming. Keep the negative ones too. I haven't seen any negative comments, really. I mean, people used to give me negative comments. I've had some people say I'm handsome and stuff. Well, thanks, guys. I'm assuming they're men, but who knows? Who knows? Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. And don't forget to, if you had your house up for sale and had no luck, download my expired listing rescue kit. And you'll find it very helpful. And if you have any questions, Wayne, let's book a calendar meeting, and I could definitely help you out there. Also, if you have any questions about real estate, here's my contact info. All right, friends, that's it for this week. Thank you so much. Woo! Thank you. Don't forget, every Thursday at 5 o'clock, I put out a new video. Once again, it's Thursday today. I'm going to be rushing to edit, but I'll get this out to you at 5 o'clock. You can check it out. And have yourself a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.